former educator and entrepreneur Althea Hall-White is officially running for North Charleston City Council's District 5 seat. I talked with Althea for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Althea Hall-White, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, you are a retired educator.
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur.
Of course.
And of course, you now have always been a resident of North Charleston City Council's District 5.
Correct.
And now you are running officially as a candidate.
Yes.
What got you from being a retired educator and entrepreneur and a lifelong resident to saying, hey, now I want to serve my community on council?
Well, I began to look at the community and talk with a number of the people who live in the community, who stayed when I left and then, of course, returned. I came to realize that a lot of the things that should have gone on did not go on. The community itself has been kind of left, the entire district. You've got a lot of blight, you've got a lot of elderly people who are there who pretty much have been forgotten. Homes have been abandoned, and no one seems to care.
Why do you care?
I care because I grew up there. And I'd like to see it return to an area of vibrancy in an attempt to return families to those communities. Older communities where there were homeowners that have moved on maybe to other parts of the country, who have left their family's property, thinking that someone else will take care of it. Maybe it's heirs' property. Maybe it's just abandoned property. But yet and still it's property. And it's someone's legacy. And I'm of the opinion that it should be identified and people should be encouraged to retain what wealth was left for them and to them and not neglect it.
What is your legacy in District 5?
My legacy in District 5 comes in the fact that my parents bought their first home back in the 50s when home ownership was pretty minuscule when you think about minorities and home ownership. The community that my mom and dad bought into was basically county. The city had not become a city yet. There was no infrastructure. I had the opportunity to see infrastructure brought in and put into the communities. That's another area that I'm really concerned about because there's been no improvement in the infrastructure. When you think of more than 50, 60 years of people living in that area and the lack of continued maintenance and improvement in the infrastructure, whether it be drainage, whether it be sewage, water lines, water mains, all of these things just have not been taken care of, or at least refurbished.
How many drainages that need to be worked on right now in your mind in District 5?
Based on what I've seen, I know in the area where I live, I've been working with the city of North Charleston and the state on backfall ditches, which are the ditches that carry the water away from the river and into the ditches to take it all the way out and return it back. And I've also been working with the drainage in that area as far as making sure that our sewer lines and sewer pipes and drainage vents are open and clear and free flowing. And I would have to say that I can't give you a number. I would not want to just speculate. But let's just say that there are many of them that have grown over and have not been cleaned or dredged for removal of grass and debris. And a lot of that creates the flooding problems in some areas where ditches run over.
Where's the flooding right now in District 5?
In District 5, I'm glad to say it has gotten a little better, but along Dorchester Road, on both sides, sometimes those drains, they get backed up and they get waterlogged, especially if we have a major rain. Along Leeds Avenue, that also floods on occasion. Because you must remember that District 5 is, shall I say, you've got the Ashley River on both sides. Right. It's only bridged across from say favorite place over to West Ashley.
Right.
Then you go all the way over to Carsgrove, and there's
Right.
another bridge that goes over. So it's like the area right by my house. I get fish, turtles, egrets, all kinds of wildlife that come in to feed from my little ravine. Of course, I keep it clean, so I always have minnows and whatnot that come through, and turtles, which are fun for the kids when they come to that area. But it runs continuously. It's a brackish water. It goes from across the Atlantic, and then it drains into the fallbacks, and then it goes into, of course, the rivers and the streams, and of course the river itself, which is the Ashley, and then it becomes brackish and comes all the way back around. Just continues to circulate. And luckily, where I am, where I keep my ditch clean and running, I really don't have a lot of problems. I don't have a lot of problems with mosquitoes, but when you think about mosquito infestation along those ravines and along those ditches, that could be very concerning. It should be very concerning, especially with young children and pets.
I know a big concern that a lot of people are having right now is about a certain candidate in the race for North Charleston City Council's District 5. And this is from Mickey Dennis of the Post and Courier. He wrote this just recently.
Right.
He says this. Actually, let me go back to the first part. It says this. On Wednesday, however, Jerome Heyward, who's a candidate for the race, provided the commission with a lease that showed he has rented a condo in North Charleston since February, according to his attorney, Mark Pepper. The commission then sent another letter informing Heyward his name will be on the ballot after all. Both Heyward and Pepper said that the incumbent, Councilman Todd Bowles, raised concerns to the election commission about Heyward's residency. When you go back and read this, what concerns do you have?
I just want to have a good race. I love competition. I just want it to be fair and honest. And based on what my knowledge of what transpired with that situation, I do have some concerns. But my concerns are as it relates to the legitimacy of the documents that Mr. Heyward submitted. When he initially declared, he used another address. And my concern is, why would he have to go back and change the address? If that was where he was living, then the initial address should have been the one that was used, and that should determine his residency. However, to make a change in the middle of a race, to me, and after he's already declared, I think that's almost unheard of.
Did he come to you before or after he declared?
After he declared, he came to me, and he didn't come to me. He gave me a phone call, and explained to me that his entering the race was not anything personal, and he just talked to me about why he was entering the race, and he told me personally, from his mouth or his lips to my ears, that he had just moved into the district the week before. And of course, I just told him, welcome to the race, and good luck, if he was truly in the race. However, then it was brought to my attention that he did not meet the residency requirements. Then I began to take a look at, and of course, develop some concerns myself. And I began to do my opposition research, and I found some very interesting findings. And I think when the people of North Charleston really take a look at the candidates, I would hope that they would judge the candidates on what they've done. And I say, let my work speak for me. I've been in the community. I grew up in the community. I think to just come into an area to confuse the people is totally improper and totally reprehensible, if I may use that term, because to think that someone would come in and think that you would be so lacking in knowledge of what goes on in your community that they could walk in and pretend, or shall I say, assume that they would be received with open arms and without credibility. I think from a credibility standpoint, yes, I don't want to besmirch or cast aspersions on Mr. Heyward, but I could not see, I would never I would not ever put myself in a position where my credibility would be in question. And when I think of impropriety and the kinds of things that I've seen, quite honestly, I really didn't realize just how I'm at a loss for words.
In your findings,
Mhm.
and if you talk to the average person about the findings of Mr. Heyward allegedly, all of these alleged findings,
That's all alleged, yes.
how many of these findings are confusing to you and the average voter?
I'm not confused. I mean, I'm not confused from the standpoint of I speak the truth. I speak truth to power. And I am not going to be persuaded by misinformation, false information. And I think it's kind of insulting to think that someone would do something like that, especially the people who've worked so hard trying to do what's best for them and their community. And to allow for somebody to allow themselves to be placed in a position where maybe they should reconsider. If you can't trust somebody now, how are you going to trust them in the future? How could I could not represent people and know full well that I was not honestly elected, or that there was anything that would take away from the character, the honesty, and the integrity of the electorate. People need to feel safe and assured that the people who come to represent them are, one, qualified. And qualifications, I'll put my qualifications up against anybody.
Can you lay it out here?
I can lay it out here. And I invite anyone to question my qualifications. I'm a graduate of Barnes-Wilson High School. I hold a Bachelor's of Science degree in both biology and physical education. I hold an MED, a Master's of Education, from the Civil Charleston. I also hold an education specialist degree from the Liberty University. I also fly. I think Mr. Heyward and Jess, he said, "Well, I'm on the aviation board," and I said, "Yeah, and I fly airplanes." As a matter of fact, he said he didn't even know. Now he's from Hollywood, I believe, but he said he didn't even know that there was an airport on Johns Island until he was talking to some folks over at, I think, on Johns Island about that. And what I did was I worked for High Tech Learning Systems out of Florida, and I would come in every year from Houston, and I do the flight training program for Berg High School. And I did the ground training, and I also did the flight simulator training. And then I also took the kids out to the airport, and we actually flew. These kids actually flew 727s, and so did I. And we had a great time. I'm also an entrepreneur. My husband and I ran a manufacturing company where we actually built downhole drilling devices, shifting tools, bin assemblies for the oil patch. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to go to Kuwait to deliver some urgent parts for a company, Schlumberger, there while they were drilling, which was just unreal. Having had that opportunity. I also work for legal writers in sales and marketing. I'm also a certified EEO. That's Equal Employment Practices. I'm also a notary, and I've also worked with the Office of Federal Contract Compliance as an officer with the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. So, I mean, I've been around, I've done a few things, I've got my street creds, I've written grants. As a matter of fact, I wrote the first grant for the Fresh Fruit Initiative for the state of South Carolina for Charleston County School District. And that is still in place now and spreading to some of the other schools where the kids actually get fresh fruits and vegetables at school. Now, I know that it's tough, and I'm not going to dwell on Mr. Heyward, and I'm not going to dwell on any of the other candidates. But I say this: I would like to see our city be brought into the 21st century, not by hook and crook, not by nepotism, not by corruption, but I think by breaking up the family businesses, not only here in the Low Country or in any other public office or any other venue, and allow people in to serve the people. What I have come to realize is that a number of the people who are elected to public office as servants of the community have forgotten what it is to be public servants and have become self-serving.
Well, you talk about public servants,
Mhm.
or service that is.
Mhm.
What do you know about North Charleston government, our city government as a whole?
Well, that's interesting. It's not what I know, it's what I see and what I've experienced. It appears to me that, again, there are just, there's, everybody knows there's nepotism, nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody knows that it's a family business, nobody wants to talk about it. I just want to do the service of the people. I want to work for the people. I don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs to get the job done. What I need is, as a constituent, is to know that the people who are representing me, are representing my needs. If they're taking the job, represent my needs. I don't think it takes 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, 12 years to do that. I don't think it takes people benefiting from their office in order to be successful. My feeling is that we need to look out for each other. And if I have to step over you to get where I want to be, it won't be me stepping on you, because that's not what I'm about.
Now, since you've been running for office for North Charleston City Council, how many city council meetings have you actually attended?
I'd say about 4 or 5. I drop in now and then, and just to see what's going on. I've seen a number of things that cause me great concern. I was at a meeting a few weeks ago, and this particular issue or ordinance had already been set. The city council had actually authorized the changing of or rezoning of an area that is in a neighborhood where I do own property. And it caused me some concern because I had no idea. So I was sitting there, I raised my hand, and I asked the question, well, how were the people, the constituents notified? I was advised that the notification came in the form of public notification in a newspaper, posting at the site. And I was told by Mr. Oles that there were letters sent out to the district. And I just let them know that I own property in that area. I didn't get a letter. And when I talked to other constituents in that area, they didn't get a letter either. We've got to do better at communicating the needs, or communicating to people in all the districts about what's going on in city government.
And Althea Hall-White, thank you for your time here on Quintin's Full Substance. And as a disclaimer, Jerome Heyward is always welcome on Quintin's Full Substance. I've been communicating with him recently, so I hope to have him on as well as Todd Oles as well.
Okay, well that's great. The good thing about it is we need to make sure that, like I said, I stand on my record.
Okay.
I stand on my credentials, and I stand on my relationship with the community. And I'm just humbled at the fact that I could even consider coming back to serve them because of what the community gave me. They gave me everything that I am, from my childhood to where I am right now. It gave me the mindset. It taught me the need for family, the need for giving back, and it's just wonderful. It's a humbling feeling.
Can you stand on character?
I stand on character. I stand on integrity. I stand on everything that I have been taught, and that from my dad even, a handshake is better than a contract when you can look somebody in the eye and know that they're telling you the truth. And now it just seems that we've lost all semblance of character and character education, and knowing that a man's or a woman's word is his or her bond. We need a return to character, integrity.
Althea Hall-White, again, thank you for your time on Quintin's Full Substance, and I hope to have, like I indicated just a second ago, 2 of your other contenders on there as well, so we hope to have them as well.
I'd be open to a debate.
Well, I would love to moderate it.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I think, 3 people, and these, again, I know Todd, and we both kind of said, welcome to the race, and I know he's out there working, I'm out there working, but like him, I feel like he's in it to win it, I'm in it to win it, and whatever else comes, I know I'm back to business, getting it done, and I'm not going to, how shall I say, I'm not going to concentrate on the other, because there is such a thing as karma, and I believe in karma.
Thank you.
Thank you.